The bioscanner had failed 3 times in the past week, but Orla hadn't reported it. On the orbital research station, Kepler-Sepin, where humanity studied the indigenous life forms of Zeroth Prime, protocol dictated immediate notification of any equipment malfunction. But Orla had her reasons for silence. She discovered the cub on a Tuesday morning, or what passed for Tuesday in the station's artificial 24-hour cycle. The creature was no larger than a house cat, though its physiology bore no resemblance to any Earth species. Its body consisted of a translucent, gelatinous membrane stretched over a crystalline, skeletal structure that refracted the dim emergency lighting into prismatic patterns across her dormitory walls. 6 delicate limbs were tucked beneath its form, and where its head should have been, there existed only a cluster of bioluminescent nodes that pulsed with a soft, amber rhythm. The cub had positioned itself beside her pillow, its body rising and falling in what appeared to be respiration, though Orla knew from her xenobiology training that Zerathian lifeforms didn't breathe in any conventional sense. They absorbed nutrients and energy directly through their membranes from the planet's unique electromagnetic field that the station's generators partially replicated to sustain the specimens in the research lab's computer, sealed door. Authorization Kensington 7 Alpha, Orla whispered, sliding out of her sleeping pod. The door's magnetic lock engaged with a soft click. She knelt beside the creature, her scientific training warring with an inexplicable surge of protectiveness. The station's standing orders were unambiguous. Any unsecured xenofauna must be immediately contained and transferred to the quarantine labs. Dr. Rashid, the station's chief xenobiologist, had been particularly emphatic after the incident with the phase-shifting organisms that had infiltrated the hydroponics bay. But this was different. This cub wasn't an escaped lab specimen. The research division had no juveniles in containment, which meant it had come from outside, from the planet's surface 300 kilometers below. How did you get up here? Orla extended her hand slowly. The cub's bioluminescent nodes brightened, shifting from amber to a curious green. Its membrane rippled, and one of its limbs unfolded, reaching toward her fingers. The moment of contact sent a jolt through her nervous system, not painful, but startling in its intimacy. Information flooded her consciousness. Hunger, confusion, fear, and underlying it all, a desperate sense of searching. The cub wasn't lost. It had been looking for something, for someone. Orla jerked her hand back, heart hammering. That's not possible, she breathed. Zerathian life forms weren't supposed to be capable of direct neural interfacing. The research had been conclusive their cognitive processes, while complex, operated on principles entirely alien to mammalian neurology. Yet she had felt its emotions as clearly as her own. Her tablet chimed. A message from Jackson, her research partner and the station's only other xenolinguistic specialist. Orla, we have a problem. Can you meet me in lab for urgent? She glanced at the cub, then at the door. Every instinct screamed at her to protect the creature, to keep it hidden. But Jackson would know what to do. Jackson always knew what to do. Stay here, she told the cub, though she had no idea if it could understand. I'll be back. Lab 4 occupied the station's lowest accessible level, positioned between the primary research sector and the engineering bays. Orla found Jackson hunched over a holographic display, his dark skin sheened with sweat despite the climate-controlled environment. We've been looking at this all wrong, he said, without preamble, not turning from the display. The electromagnetic patterns we've been recording from the planet's surface, they're not environmental phenomena. They're communication. Orla moved closer, studying the cascading data streams. Communication? Between what? Between the life forms and something else. Something in orbit. Jackson finally looked at her, and she saw the exhaustion in his eyes. 3 days ago, I detected an anomalous signal originating from Zeroth Prime's upper atmosphere. I thought it was instrument error. Then, last night, Dr. Rashid's team found something in the deep scans. There's a massive structure in geosynchronous orbit on the planet's far side. It's been there the whole time, hidden in the magnetosphere. Orla, it's artificial. The implications crashed over her like a wave. You're saying Zeroth Prime has a civilization? Yes, or had one. The structure is old, possibly millions of years, but it's still active. Jackson pulled up another display, this one showing a schematic of the station's hull. Red dots peppered the image, and in the past 48 hours, 17 breaches have been detected in our external sensors. Something is getting through our defenses. Orla's throat tightened. What kind of something? Small xenofauna? Juveniles, mostly. Jackson's expression hardened. Dr. Rashid wants to implement Protocol Omega-4 station lockdown. elimination of all uncontained biological material. She's calling it a contamination event. That's genocide, Orla said flatly. That's protocol. They stood in silence, the hum of the station's life support systems filling the void between them. Orla made her decision. There's a cub in my quarters, she said. It made contact with me, actual neural contact. I felt what it was feeling, Jackson. It's searching for something. Jackson's eyes widened. That's impossible. The cognitive gap. I know what the research says. I also know what I experienced. Orla gripped his arm. We need to understand what's happening before Rashid starts purging the station. If these cubs are coming here deliberately, if they're trying to communicate, then we're not dealing with mindless animals. We're dealing with something that thinks, that feels, that has purpose. A low alarm began to sound, reverberating through the station's superstructure. Jackson's tablet lit up with emergency notifications. Too late, he said grimly. Protocol Omega is active. We have 15 minutes before the purge systems engage. Orla was already running. She burst into her quarters to find the cub floating near the ceiling. Its membrane expanded to 3 times its previous size. The bioluminescent nodes blazing with panicked white light. The moment she entered, it descended, wrapping its limbs around her shoulders. The neural contact was immediate and overwhelming. This time, she didn't just feel emotions, she saw images, memories not her own. A vast city of crystalline spires beneath Zereth Prime's purple sky, beings of light and thought moving through spaces that defied Euclidean geometry. And then, catastrophe. The sky tearing open, something vast and hungry pouring through, consuming everything in its path. The survivors had fled to the stars, to the ancient orbital station they had built as a refuge. But they needed something they had lost in the calamities, something only found in beings with neural architecture different from their own. They needed imagination, creativity, the chaotic spark that defined organic consciousness. They needed humans. The cub's nodes pulsed urgently. It wasn't just searching for someone, it was searching for Orla specifically, drawn by the unique resonance of her consciousness, by the stories she loved, the dreams she harbored, the ineffable quality that made her her. You want to merge, Orla whispered, understanding flooding through her. You need a host to survive. But more than that, you need our way of thinking to rebuild what was lost. The door's magnetic lock disengaged. Jackson stood in the corridor, Dr. Rashid, and 2 security officers behind him. Step away from the creature. Dr. Kensington, Rashid ordered, her voice cold with authority. Orla looked at Jackson, pleading silently. He met her gaze, and something passed between them, the understanding forged through years of partnership, of late nights theorizing about alien minds and possible futures. Jackson moved with surprising speed, triggering the door control. The panel sparked and died. The security officers trapped on the other side. What are you doing? Rashid's voice crackled through the intercom, preventing a mistake. Jackson called back. He turned to Orla. Do it. Whatever it's asking, do it. Orla pressed her forehead against the cub's membrane. The neural connection deepened, became permanent. She felt her consciousness expanding, merging with something vast and ancient and desperately young all at once. The cub's memories became hers. Her creativity, her humanity, flowed into it when the purge systems activated. Spraying the dormitory with sterilizing plasma, they found only Jackson standing guard over an empty room. The bioscanner registered no xenofauna, no contamination. It didn't register Orla either, because Orla was no longer entirely human. She had become something new, the first bridge between 2 species. 2 ways of thinking, 2 hopes for survival in an indifferent universe. And curled beside her pillow, in a space that existed between dimensions, between thoughts, the cub that was now part of her dreamed of rebuilding what had been lost. They would imagine a new world into being.